Hey, what's going on, people? I hope everybody's doing great. I didn't catch the Fox News interview with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. See, that's what I say about social science, psychology. Donald Trump been saying her name wrong so much that even though I know the correct pronunciation of her name, I said it wrong in that instant because when you say stuff over and over, it starts to program the subconscious. But I'm gonna look at this interview for myself. I'm gonna see what you guys think about it. Let's watch it together. Hmm.
Stepping into unfriendly territory and doing a nearly half an hour interview with Fox News. And it was heated from the very first moment. Didn't start in like slow and sort of friendly. No, from the very first moment till the very end.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a number? Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people have been released.
So that was a batted version. I was trying to find a full version. I thought I had it. My bad, people. I made the boo boo. Let me see if I can find the full version of the interview. Oh, this is CNN post. Damn it, I'm on the wrong ish. All right, I apologize, people. I'll be bugging. Cheerios. All right, let me find the right one. I'm just go to Fox News per se. I thought I was on Fox News. CNN out here looking like Fox News to me. I got him. I want to. Okay, let's go to Fox News. Yeah, let's show the damn debate. God damn it. Let me play it. Okay. Do we have the whole damn debate or what?
Way to help you make life.
I hate the commercials though. Let me see here.
More affordable. You don't have to.
Oh, 1 second. I hate this crap right here. Goddamn logistics. I guess we can hear the commercial, right?
Do anything other than what you're doing right now, which is living in the Garden State.
Bullshit.
Thanks to a new initiative launched by Governor Murphy and the legislature.
Okay.
Like you, identify and apply for cost-saving and life-changing programs. Groceries, utilities, healthcare, even tax benefits that could save you thousands. So, guess the secret isn't so secret anymore.
Next.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Okay, now we're in it.
Pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue.
It was good, cuz.
I agree with you. It is a
How you doing? How you doing? Hope all is well.
People want to rightly have, and you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but do you just a number? Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of 6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came.
Yo, not for nothing, you gotta give Kamala Harris. Jeez, you gotta give Kamala Harris respect because coming on Fox News is like coming on the Lion's Den, and this guy is asking the questions and he's not giving an opportunity to answer because that's what they pretty much do. Not just on Fox News, any media. If you're the opposition of that media and the views of people, you're obviously gonna attack the candidate that comes on there because they know they're coming into a Lion's Den. It's not meant for it to be softball questions or it's not meant for it to be easy. Doesn't mean that Kamala Harris can do a good job. Under the circumstances and under pressure, the way she did, I think she did good on Fox News. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought she was going to do worse. So We'll see. Let's look at it. Let's watch it.
Came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
Support the channel, like it. Once you click like if you're watching it. Thank you.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a like?
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did. And we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday, campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There is no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss, sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all
her?
fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said
She in the lion's den right now.
secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
There were
that's how the
90
system
plus.
works.
That part is true because executive orders is temporary. I do executive order, it's only going to last until the courts strike it down.
Because
That
there's other
part,
things to
yeah.
talk about, but we frequently talked to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men.
Where's
and women,
Alejandro
hard.
Mayorkas?
They're working
That's the guy
around
that's
the
responsible for the
clock.
border.
I get it.
Where he at?
There's a lot of people that look back in what you said in 2019 when you
He
first
screwed
ran for
up.
president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will
Damn.
follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery. For prisoners. Every transgender.
I ain't gonna hold you, but god damn.
Access.
Even if that was a pass and she changed her position, god
Are you still in
damn.
support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law. And it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably
That's a
familiar
fact,
with,
though.
now it's a public report that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available to on a
Mhm.
medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition.
It doesn't
surgeries
matter.
happened
That
That's
policy was
irresponsible
still
for
in
what happened
effect.
in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his
It's
presidency.
in
So
black and white.
would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgeries?
follow the law, just as I
Well, you have a
think
say
Donald
in
Trump would
this.
say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think it's real. He spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On
it was
plans for
different,
the
but let's-
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people say-
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year.
Why
Those
do
are
you-
the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him? on
People,
the
I don't mind if you
trust
like
him?
and subscribe.
that
It'd be
when
nice if you
you look
subscribe to my
at
channel.
the
I got all
analysis
kinds of
of
crap
our
on here.
plans for what we
I'm
would do as
Kurt the
president
Jerk.
of the
Holla at
United
me.
States.
You know what I'm saying?
It
My
has
Facebook
been
friends and family,
clear
please
to those
holla
who
at me.
study
We're streaming
and
on multiple
understand
platforms
how
right now. We're
economic
streaming on
policy works, that
YouTube
moving forward, because I do believe
and
the American
Facebook.
people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
People are
70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become,
power.
but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him
Madam
instead
Vice
of
President,
the American people.
if
People
that's the
are
case,
tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad
Say
as you
it.
say,
Half the country's
that half of
crazy.
this
Nah, I'm
country
just joking.
is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's
if
not
it's
supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a
so
cakewalk
are they misguided, the
for anyone.
50%?
Listen,
Are they stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No,
All
it's true.
fairness,
We
Trump
gotta
commit
take
all kinds of crime. Let's be
accusation.
realistic.
It's
If
a terrible thing.
don't
So-
even be a supporter, don't
I'm
be silly.
sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked
No,
about that
no,
specific.
no, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and
I'm
respect
telling you,
to
that
you,
was the question that we asked him.
you didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this,
No,
Madam Vice President.
but
You call
let's not
Donald
diminish
Trump.
the significance
you
of that.
call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
He's
he is
unstable.
unstable.
He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You
and
told
we
many
should all be
interviewers
concerned.
that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And
but,
Donald Trump
but you
is,
talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After
is.
George Clooney said
and
within a
if
few
you
minutes of
watch
talking to President
Donald
Biden at a
Trump-
fundraiser that he thought this was not the same
Brett,
Joe Biden that we saw on the debate
Donald
stage.
Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics?
China will never strike us because they make money off of us. Like, knock it off.
Like Iran is the #1 threat.
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion that Iran posed a threat to Israel, I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
But those
is,
proxies were getting
and
funded by
my
Iran.
commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put
But here are
Iran in check.
the estimates
and then
in billions
it was during Donald Trump's
that go
administration
towards
that
the Iran.
Donald Trump got rid of the
we had
Iran
an
New
American
Deal.
military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention
Madam
how
Vice
Donald
President,
Trump has
all of this money
has treated
that
and
has
talked about
gone in the
America's
past few
military
years.
and military service people,
Critics
calling them
say that it goes to
suckers and
Hezbollah,
losers,
Hamas,
has diminished
and
the
Houthis. We're
significance.
talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a
And there
decision
are
that
critics
they
who
feel.
look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things
There's more to say. I have
there
much more to
are
say,
a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you here.
everyone to go to KamalaHarris.com, and you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite
80
comprehensive
pages.
and should be accessible
Damn.
to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend
80
to do about
pages of
small
policy.
businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here,
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and
to
where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the
Trump gonna be mad at that interview. He gonna look at that like, what the hell? He said, how dare you let her get this all that saying out? How dare you let her say all that stuff? I mean, you know, politics is politics, you know. I could tell that Kamala Harris was being attacked. We could be honest with it, but it's Fox News. That's the same way if Donald Trump goes to CNN, he'll get attacked too. That's why he don't really go on those sites either. So much respect to Kamala Harris. She actually went on the Lions Den. I didn't think she was going to do an interview with Fox News. That's wow. She did it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was going to be much worse, but that's what it is. I mean, it's not the worst. I wonder what you guys think. Once y'all leave a comment on my YouTube, if you're watching me on YouTube, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about that interview. Good or bad. I'm not partisan. I'm not on either side. I'm in between. I like good points on Trump's side, good points on Kamala's side. I'm in between with it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Once you leave a comment in YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'm also a member of Awareness Academy 411 on YouTube. So please click like and subscribe on my Awareness Academy 411 YouTube channel. But please support me on Kurt the Jerk on YouTube. Share with your friends and family. Tell them about me. If you have a business, you're trying to be interviewed, you can leave a note on the YouTube channel. I will reply. If I don't reply right away, give me at least a day to reply to you, and I'll be happy to interview you. If you got a business you're trying to sell anything, or you want to come on our show, we have Friday shows as well. We talk a lot of crap. You know, it's not all politics. It's just about random stuff, life. And if you're interested to come on the show and have a conversation with us, holla at me. You can come on the show. We could talk your smack. It'll be fun. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you said, Jasmine. You said they wouldn't let her answer. Well, that's pretty much. It's the Lions Den. I expect that to happen. It's the Lions Den. You're going to Lions Den. If Trump would have went on CNN. But then again, I don't know. CNN is leaning right nowadays, so I can't really say that. Oh, yeah, you can come on the show. You want to come on the show Friday? Jasmine, please. No problem. I will set you up tomorrow. We're going to hook up tomorrow to make sure that you can be able to come on the show and it'll be fine. We love to have guests. We're gonna have a lot of crazy stuff we're going to talk about. All right? And if everybody, please support my channel again, Kurt the Jerk at YouTube. And please support my other YouTube channel, which is Awareness Academy 411. Where we give you the 411 on mad different stuff. We just recently did an interview with a fitness trainer. It's part 1. It's just talking about the workout ethics and all that. We didn't really get into the food aspect. We're going to get into the food aspect later. So go to Awareness Academy 411 on YouTube. Take a look at our stuff. And if you ever want to be a member of our show, please come on it. We're happy to have you. We don't mind opposition. Let me tell you something. I'm all for views. I love drama. I'm a troll, so you never want to troll me because I promise you, you have no idea how much of a software engineer, and I also did things for the government. So you do not want to troll me on some personal stuff because I could go real personal. I'm a troll. I like to smoke, but I don't want no smoke. I just want to have fun with you guys. You can talk crap with me. You can talk crap about me. I'm cool with that. So please click like and subscribe, YouTube channel, and everybody have a wonderful night. I got to go to work tomorrow. Peace. Woo!